Hello everyone. Today in this video, we're going to understand concept of class and object. Guys, as you can understand, everything in Java is associated with classes and objects, along with its attributes and methods. Let's understand that with the help of example. Let's say guys, in real life, person is an object. Okay, that is a base blueprint or base architect of any person is they all have name, they all have age, they all have gender associated with them. I'm just taking common attributes. So you can consider class like a basic entity, basic architect, like house as a basic architect. Now same architect can be used to build different houses. Same way, we can consider class like a base architect, like as I was giving you example of a person. Let's say I have a base architect of a person. So name of the class is person. Now common attributes I can have in it is name is there. We can have age, gender. So these are the common attributes of any person. After that, if I have to associate it some activities which is associated with person. So activities which are common and associated with any person is they can walk, they can sleep, they can smell. So these are some common functions which they can perform. Now, as I was telling you, just consider this person as a base architect on top of which different objects can be created. Now, let's relate it with the house. Let's say I've created a base class for house. So, name of my class is house. Now, all houses will have windows, will have rooms, will have floor. So, these are the common attributes of house. Now, on base of these common attributes, I can make different houses. Let's say house number 1, it has 3 windows, 5 rooms, 1 floor. So this is my first house, but base is coming from the class. So guys, class is like a base entity, or you can say base architect, on top of which you can build different objects. So you have created a base attribute. Now you can use that base attribute to build different houses. It's not like all houses will have same windows, same rooms, and same floor. But I'm picking up the base architect, and on top of that architect, I'm using it to build different houses with the same plan, but different houses with the same attributes and properties, but number of those attributes are different. Here there are 3 windows. Let's say house number 2, 5 windows, house number 3, 6 windows. So I am using the same properties to build different houses. Same ways, class is like that base architect on the basis of which you can make different objects with different values of the attributes. In class, you define the basic properties, and with the help of object, you can give different values to that basic properties. Let's understand this with the help of example. So first I'm going to tell you how to create a class. We can right click on a package, go to new, click on class. I'm going to name it as object. And I'm going to include the main method in it. Click on finish. Guys, before getting into objects explanation or class explanation, I will be letting you know that what is global variables. So guys, in our previous video, we already understood what is variables. All right. Now we will be understanding what is global variable. Guys, any variable which you are declaring outside the main method. Look at this main method. Public static void main string args. Brackets are starting from here and it is closing here. Anything which is outside this scope of my main method, if I'm declaring it outside, that is called global variables or class variables. Let me just define it over here. Let's say I'm writing int age. Now this is my global variable because it is outside the main method. This is also known as, this is global variable, and it is also known as class variable. Why it is class variable, guys? Because it is in the scope of class. You are declaring it inside the class, but outside the main method. So this is inside the class. Look at the brackets of class. It is starting from here and closing here. Anything which is within these brackets is in the scope of class. Anything which is within these brackets of main method will be in the scope of main method. You understand the concept of brackets. So this bracket closes here. So if you're defining anything inside it, it is in main method. If you're declaring anything outside it, the scope of that variable or method is in the class but outside the main method. So anything which is declared outside the method, outside the main method, it is called global variables. So I will be declaring some global variables. Let's say I'm creating a class for person. So everyone have age, all have name. So I'm just declaring the common base attributes. All have gender associated with them. So I created these three global variables. Why I created global variables, I'll just let you know that. I'm removing this auto-generated comment. Okay. So guys, I'm going to now declare some local variables. Local variables are those variables which are inside the method. So here, if you declare anything, let's say I'm declaring here. So I'll write integer a. So this is my local variable. So I'll write it here, local variable. Now we have already declared the global and local variable. I created base architect of the class. Now guys, it's not like all people will have same age, same name or same gender, right? People can have different age, different name, different gender. If I'm going to define this thing that age is 30, name is ABC, this is for one person. I'm declaring it for one person. Now, if you want to give different values to it, you can create a different memory area for it. And that different memory area is called objects. So what we're going to do in this case, I will be creating different memory areas. So let's say I created 3 memory areas by using my base attributes, which is in class object, which I've just created. I do have some basic attributes in it, which is name, age, gender. Now, this is my base attribute, base architect. But as I've told you, it's not like everyone will have same name, same age or gender. So I'm creating 3 different memory areas because I want to declare age, name, gender for 3 different people. So here I will be using name, age, gender in my one memory area. Then the second memory area will also copy these global variables, age, gender. Again, in this, I will again have name, age, gender. So when you create object, you create different memory areas with the same attributes in it. So I have created 3 different memory areas with the base attributes defined in my class. But good thing about these memory areas is you can define or you can give different values to it. So I can simply write, okay, name is Alan, age is 20, gender is male. Here I can write, okay, name is Dora, age is 30, and gender is female. In this, I can write name is, let's say, Rahul, age is 32, gender is male. So, by using the same base properties, I created 3 different objects, 3 different memory areas where I'm giving values according to my requirement. If let's say builder has given you the base architect or blueprint of the house, you're using that blueprint to make your own house. But yes, your house design or its interior, its decoration is different from other houses. Yes, base plan is same, but interior design of the house, interior decoration of the house is different from other houses. Same way, we got the base architect, name, age, gender, but with the help of object, I'm creating a different memories in which these variables will be copied, variables or methods, whatever you have declared globally outside the main method, everything will be copied here, and you can give value according to your requirement. If you create three objects, three memory area will be created by copying these variables inside it. So you can use these variables in different memories. Let's see how we create it. So in order to create this, I will be writing new, that is a keyword, and then name of the class. So in this case, name of the class is object. And I'm going to give brackets, semicolon. So this is how you create object. When you write new object, then guys, this area is created. Whenever we write this line, new class name, whatever the name of class is, this area is created. Let's say I again write this line, new class name. One more memory is created. So memory number 2 is created with these variables or methods inside it. If you have declared methods, then methods. If you have declared variables, then variables. Again, if I write new class name, third memory area will be created. So with this, you can create memories like this, and these memories will have all the global variables or methods inside it. So practically, if you see, when you write new object, one memory area is created. Again, I will write new object. Object is name of my class, guys. So whatever is name of your class, you will be writing that. So object is not any keyword, it is name of my class. So here, whatever your name of class is, you will be writing that. So third memory area I'm also creating by writing new object. So I have created three objects in which these variables, global variables are copied. There will be no local variable inside it. It's just global variables which are copied here. So anything which is in the main method will not be copied over there. It's not going to be there. It's just your global variables which will be part of it, or methods which are outside the main method. If you declare any method here, but it should be outside the main method, will be copied in the memory. So because it is in a scope of class. So anything which is in the scope of class will be copied in the object memory which you have created. Now guys, one more thing, how to access this memory area. So if I talk about this memory area and I want to give values Alan, 20, male to these variables, how I can access it, how I can refer it. In order to refer this object, you need to create reference. So the complete syntax to create a reference is, we need to write name of the class. So class name, reference name, and then this line. So the complete structure is class name, reference name, assign, new class name. Let me write it in complete line here. So it's going to be, if I converted it with the class name as object, so it is object, name of the reference, it can be anything. Let's say I'm writing A, assign new object. So in this command, this section here, new object, that is my class name. This is the way to create an object. But if you want to access this object, you need to refer it. And in order to create the reference, you will write name of the class, reference name of the class, reference name, assign object. This is your object. So new name of the class. So let's discuss the complete syntax to refer the object. So here we will be writing Name of the class, in this case, it is object. Reference name, let's say obj, assign new object. So with this, I have created a memory area with these variables. And with the help of this, I can refer this memory area. I can access this memory area. Guys, objects can be accessed only with the help of reference. You cannot access objects otherwise. It's just with the help of reference. So the complete syntax of creating and accessing the object is this. Name of the class, reference name, assign, new, name of the class. Now I can access this memory area with the help of obj. If I want to access these variables and give different values to them, I have to write obj dot. Look at this. I'm getting age, gender, name, but I cannot see a here. A is also one of the variable, but it is local variable inside the main method. So look at this. You will not find a anywhere. So it is either age, gender, name, because these are global variables which has class scope, which is in the scope of class. So here, let's say I took age and I'm assigning it as, let's say 30. And now again, obj dot gender. Let's say I'm assigning it as male. And then obj dot and name. So I'm assigning it as, let's say Alan. So this is how you can give different values in this memory area. So now I'm accessing one memory area in which I have these three variables and I can give value according to my requirements. This is my second memory area. If I want to refer this memory area, again, I have to create a reference for it. Remember guys, no two references can have same name. So if I have to give a reference name to this, structure or syntax is same. I have to write name of the class. Obj, let's say 1. I cannot write obj again because it is already allocated. So obj1 assign. Now if I want to access this memory area, I have to write obj1. Look at this. obj1, I again got age, gender, name. There are some other methods too, which are the inbuilt methods of Java or inbuilt variables of the Java. So here, I'm going to use these again. So let's say age 20, obj1 dot gender female, obj1 dot name. Let's say according to the example, I'm giving as Dora. So guys, this is how I'm accessing two different memory areas with the same base. So with the same base architecture blueprint, I'm making different entities. I'm giving different values to the variables. So this is my third memory area. I want to access it again. I will write class name, obj, let's say 2, assign this, and same ways you can allocate value to it. So guys, let's have overview of this. Classes are the blueprints or entities in which all base properties or methods are declared. Now those methods can have different values or those properties can have different values. If you want to allocate or give different values to the variables or methods, we need to create objects for them. Objects are nothing just a memory area in which these global variables or methods will be automatically copied. According to your requirement, you can provide different values to those properties or methods with the help of objects. So how to create an object? You need to write new keyword and then name of your class. Whatever class name you have given here. Object will be created with the global variables, or methods. If you want to access this memory area or object, we have to create reference for it. Syntax of creating a reference, you will write name of the class, reference name, assign, and then the value here, then the object here. Now with the help of this obj, you can access these three variables in this memory area. So internally, Java will make a different memory area with these three variables where you can give different values to these variables. Now I created second memory area also. This memory area will also have these variables inside it. It will only have global, not local. If you want to access that, again, you need to refer it with the reference name. Whenever you write reference dot, you will get all the variables and methods which are copied in it. Now, one main point to be noted is objects can be created only in main method. It is yes calling the global variables and method which are outside the main method, but objects will be created inside the main method. So you cannot create object outside the main method. Object should be created inside the main method. I'll tell you reason behind it. Guys, main method is an entry point for JVM. That means JVM will start executing from main method. That means first thing JVM reads is main method. So JVM will get into the main method. Okay, it will read one variable is declared int A. All right, then it will come to this line and it will start making the memory area, and then it will look for the global variables. It will start looking for the global variables or methods. Now JVM will see, okay, these are the global variables. It will copy these variables in this memory area. It will go to next line. In next line, it said, okay, global variable age value is 30. So in this memory area, age will be assigned as 30. Gender will be assigned as male and name will be assigned as Alan. It will go to next line. In next line, okay, one more memory area is created with this global variables and the values are assigned. Third memory area will be created with this particular variables, global variables. And this is how compiler will read main method first and accordingly it will act. So objects will be created in main method. Guys, we might have heard from the beginning that Java is object-oriented language. Everything in Java is for objects only. Everything associated with Java is either class or objects. So guys, I hope now you understand the meaning of classes and objects. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for now.